And welcome back to My Conscious Dad. I'm Alex Urbina. We're hanging out with Kelly Sanchez, good friend of mine. She's also the one of the contributing authors to my book, Empowering and Inspiring Your Teenager, The Magical Ingredients for Successful Parenting. And the reason why I called it The Magical Ingredients is because I feel like a lot of people don't know how powerful the being is. And I want to now start talking about this magical ingredients that we all have within us that we don't really realize that we have. Like no one ever taught me about my being when I was growing up. No one said there's a magical, mighty force within you. It's the human being inside of you. It's the spirit. It's this energy that you can cause and create some extraordinary things if you learn how to tap into that, if you learn how to master those different ways of being. That energy is creative and it can cause and create some extraordinary results. No one ever has told me that and taught me that until I embarked on this spiritual journey and personal development growth through the transformational trainings.
Yeah, I think because most of the time when people talk about what needs to happen or here's a problem or how do you do this, it's always about the doing and the list of like, well, this is what you need to do and this is what you need to do. I know I've called you a lot of times like, what do I do? And then you always go back to my being, so it's not talked about. It needs to be brought out more. So I'm glad that you're bringing that out.
Yeah.
And it's important.
And a lot of times the reason why I like talking about it is because I've been practicing it for the last 18 to 20 years. And a lot of times I'll tell my clients, before I walk into an interview or before I go into a meeting or before I step onto anywhere where I'm going to be a part of something like a contribution or helping, I always sit in my car for about 5 minutes and I get grounded. And what I really get grounded on is who am I going to be when I walk in there? Mm-hmm. And I focus on 3 different ways of being. And most of the time it's the same ones: loving, caring, compassionate, mm-hmm. right? And it seems
but you're still like setting yourself up and bringing that to the forefront.
That's right. I'm making an intention that when I walk in there, I'm going to walk in with a loving, caring, compassionate heart, or I'm going to be loving, caring, compassionate, or I'm going to be authentic, vulnerable, and deeply connected with the people in the room. I don't go in there with an agenda like I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And I've been doing this for so long now that I don't need to create a list of things that I'm doing. If I get focused on being 3 powerful ways of being, it seems like the doing just gets born out of the beingness.
Yeah.
Like when I walk in loving, vulnerable, my heart's ripped wide open and I'm in those meetings, all the greatness comes out of me. And then I walk out of there and people are patting me on the back like, hey, that was awesome, or great, meeting, or great job. And it was like, and when I look back,
I was just being.
Yeah, when I look back in hindsight, it was like I had no plan.
Right.
There was no plan. I just came in with my heart on my sleeve, with the intention to love people and care about them, and always, come from a compassionate place. And it seems like all of the doingness just gets born out of that. It just manifests itself. The ideas of what to do just all of a sudden become obvious out of me being willing and focused on bringing the beingness first.
I think that there's a lot of like restrictiveness when you're thinking about what do I need to do, and
you're in your head.
You just and you get frozen and you can't even think straight, and then you like ask other people, what do I do? And if you're with like-minded people, then they're trying to think and everybody's trying to think, but then what really, that's not where the juice of life is.
Yeah.
That's not where.
And that's funny because that's why, a lot of times when when you would call me frustrated and I would tell you, or who are you being or who are you not being, and help. My job is to help you get centered back on connected to your heart, because I believe your heart has all of your own wisdom and has your own answers there. And even though you're coming to me to give you some golden jewels of gems of answers, I don't have your answers. I know you have them. But my job is to help remind you to get back connected to that, because that's where all your truth is going to come from. And I hope that I've done that for you. I hope that I was able to shift you back into your heart. And when you go into your heart, you connect back to that loving, authentic, beautiful, deeply connected mom that you are. And that's where all the answers come from. That's where you get clarity about what my son needs from me. Right, all of a sudden you go, bam, I got it. But it's only when we're giving ourselves permission to connect to that, do all the great ideas come out of that.
Yeah, it's like you're going with the flow. You're not in this like resistance and constriction and like, I don't know how to verbalize it, but it's just like this feeling of just intense that you can't move. You don't know what you need to do, and you're just so stuck.
Like paralyzed.
Yeah, you do feel paralyzed, and you don't know what to do, and you're like, what's the best thing to do? And you can overanalyze it to I literally give yourself a headache, because you can't figure it out. It's something, and it's not because you don't want to do it or you're not a good person, but you just can't figure it out. But when you do stop and regroup and bring your beingness and who am I being, and coming from there, like even just now talking about it, I can breathe better thinking about that, and then just flowing with it and letting it go.
Probably it's almost like being nervous to be on the radio too, right? Right.
Of course, you're gonna bring that up.
Well, no, but I mean, you're not the only one that sits in the booth or in that chair in front of the mic. You got people that come in and we make up these stories about the radio or who's watching and all that, and what do I need to do and what I need to say, and it just goes back to just be you, just be authentically you, and you're loving, beautiful, and creative self, and all of a sudden it just starts to unfold. The essence of you and all the wisdoms just starts to come out, and just, once you get connected to that, and you don't have to worry about what you're going to say or what you're going to do. It's just connecting back to that part.
Yeah, well, I knew I wasn't going to come in here with a ton of fear, because you were going to be like processing me, and I was like, oh no, no, I'm fine. Is there anything I need to ask? But yeah, absolutely, I agree.
So when we talk about being affectionate, I start to think about all the things that get in the way of us being affectionate, like all the fears that would stop me from allowing myself to reach out and touch my son, on his head, or go by, and I know that for men, young men, to have their dad put their hand on their head or their back of their neck, or their hand on their shoulder, is a symbol of strength. It's a symbol of companionship. It's a symbol that I got your back. Mm-hmm. And there's these little symbols that we can really let our kids know that we're there for them, and that we love them, and that they're important. And it comes through the ability to be affectionate. There's a little, when you're connected to that affectionate part of you, there's this little quiet inner voice that's telling you, hey, reach out and grab his hand, or grab her hand, or, pick your daughter up and give her a hug. There's this little internal voice that's reminding us of what to do. And I think if we're not tuned into that, we miss opportunities that like a window that opens, and then when you don't jump in it closes, and then it's gone. Yeah. And then the moment's gone, and you go to your room, and your daughter goes to her room, and you're kind of like, what, I feel like I should have done something. Yeah. And it's really about who are you being. It's like it's not a doingness, but it's more about who am I being that I didn't reach out in that moment and really connect with them, or grab their hand, or give them a hug, right?
If you're being on autopilot, you weren't thinking about it, you didn't ground yourself before going home, maybe, and just thinking about who do I need to be, right now to create, depending on who's home or whatever. Because even just that, like I was thinking about how you do that in the car. If you do that before you walk in the door when you go home, that's powerful. And you're coming in there with that intention. And I think that would just bring it to consciousness. And then you would react like that. But if you're just an autopilot, you came back from work, you went through an hour and a half of traffic, you're getting dinner ready, things are going, and, they got the headphones in, and maybe you thought about it, but, you're busy doing your thing, and then you miss that opportunity, Yeah,
and I think that those moments where we can get centered and grounded really supports us in being a better parent. Mm-hmm. When you walk in the door and your son looks up and his eyes light up and he's like, "Hi, Dad," and you walk right by him and don't even respond, or you just go, "Hey," and then keep going. It was almost like you downplayed what he was really looking for in that moment. he, in his eyes, and he saw you and he's like, hi, Dad. He expected for you to go, hey, son, or just something equal or greater than whatever it was that his greeting, right?
I mean, when I used to work as a teacher for childcare in an infant toddler program, and I would see toddlers and the moms come in, and, you know, like if they were preoccupied, my eyes are on the children, and some of them run up and, you know, they're talking to their friend or they're just doing something else and they're just totally not paying attention, and this child's been waiting for them this entire time, and you're their world, and then you just miss that opportunity. I think I don't know if I ever did that.
But what's cool about that is you're a third person watching that, and you're learning in that moment. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be that parent to my son. Mm-hmm. And so you're having that aha moment. That lady, by her not being aware and her not being present and missing that opportunity, and you seeing it, taught you a lesson.
Absolutely.
It was just a new awareness for you. Yeah. It was just a new level of consciousness for you to go, I don't want to be that. I don't ever want my son, I don't want that my son to ever have that look, that disappointed look on his face where it's like like this, and all of a sudden it's, you know, and it just they fall short. And I think our kids are yearning also for us to connect with them in a different way, like with our eyes. I think they want to be seen. They want to be recognized. And a lot of times we can do that just with our eyes. We can just look over. You know, the saddest moment that I can remember when it comes to kids is when a little boy, you know, ties their shoe for the first time. Mm-hmm. And they're trying for hours, and they're trying, and you're like, here, let me help you. He's like, no, I can do it. And they just keep trying, and then you're like, okay, fine. And you go off and start cooking or whatever. And they just, after the 20th time or 50th time, they finally get it. And when they get it, the first thing they do is what?
Look up at you.
They look up to
try
you.
To find you.
they look at you to see if you're watching them. They want to know if they were seen. Yeah. They want to know if, Mom, did you see that?
Right.
Even if they can't speak, they're looking over to see, like, they're so excited. They just need to be acknowledged. They need to be recognized, even just with your eyes. And so when they look over at you, and if you did see it and you were aware and conscious and present, you noticed it, just your endearing look or a smile or a thumbs up or, hey, I'm so proud of you. You just validated them, affirmed them, and that's 10 times, I think, more powerful than 1,000 I'm proud of yous. But just those little golden moments there. If it was a video game, you would score all these great points, you know, because you would go to the next level in a video game because, you know, you did those little hidden things that I think unconscious parents aren't aware of. They just can't see those kinds of things. They can't see those opportunities like that.
Yeah, I agree. That's funny, a video game. Imagine in the house.
We should create a video game.
That'd be so cool.
A parenting video game.
Yeah, I'm down.
And we would have to probably get we'd probably have to get like maybe Kim Kardashian or some.
Oh gosh.
I know, but or Donald Trump, since they're so dysfunctional, but
no comment.
But the world loves them. The people are attracted to dysfunction for some reason.
Is this a whole other radio show?
It is. But and I'm talking more obviously about the marketing, because I can see this great parenting video game and it just sits on the shelf because it's not exciting. You know,
right.
Working on yourself and looking at yourself
Who wants to do that?
It's overrated.
Yeah.
It's overrated and it's scary, and your fear comes up, and a lot of people aren't excited about stuff like that.
Right.
It's just like weight loss. No one gets excited about doing the real work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They just want that.
Pay your $15, go to the gym every day, and watch what you're eating, and you're gonna be healthier. People want that magic pill. They'll pay $12,000 to get that one magical pill that's gonna just sprinkle on them, and it's done. And it's a challenging arena to be in. You know, the field of personal growth. You have to sit around and kind of inspire people for those that are ready. You know, and it seems like every day a little bit more are ready. And
I feel the momentum, though.
I've been feeling it for 20 years. I've been feeling it for 20 years, ever since I got invited to a leadership team that talked about creating vision, and I got excited, and I saw our schools making a shift, which I'm starting to see right now with a lot of the charter schools. these independent schools that are now realizing that the traditional school system, was great for the time period that it was back in, when we had wars and stuff like that, and the industrial times. But now it's a whole different world, and we need to start teaching our kids interemotional intelligence. We got to teach them how to connect, and especially with technology now, that's actually causing it to go in a different direction. We really got to teach them now how to communicate and sit down and do some grassroots stuff. Do you guys still do dinners at home? Do you guys sit down and have family dinners and connect and laugh?
We do, not every night, just because of the schedules, and then with my oldest because he's in college. So, but with the younger ones, we do definitely Sunday nights, Wednesday and Thursday for sure. We do. And we have them like set the table and just be like a part of it, kind of old school. Yeah. I started that just because I had so many kids. It wasn't like I was trying to be a good parent and teach them something, but it was like, man, this is a lot of work for one person. So you got to help, So
you enrolled them into helping.
And you get So, but I think that they take, ownership of that, and then they're a part of it. It's not just like I get everything ready and then call them to the table. They go there and, they could be done in 4 minutes and then off they go into their rooms again. So it's not that, because they're the ones that help put it out. And so we'll spend time, put music on, and sometimes the conversations will turn interesting, with 4 teenage boys. So but it's good times. It's good times.
And I think that just that kind of bonding, it's almost like a team building. It sounded, as you were explaining, I felt like you guys were building a team, relying on each other. Hey, I got this, I got the plates, all right, I'll get this. You guys are learning how to kind of be a team, and I think that fosters the ability to look out for each other, to be aware of what's going on with each other and that kind of thing. That's pretty special.
I always tell, I don't know why, I don't even know where this came from, but I do tell my boys, I'm like, at the end of the day, you guys are what you guys have. Like, you guys are brothers, me and your dad, we're going to die one day, and you guys are all you're going to have left. So I always try to tell them that. I know that they're going to have families and everything, but, I think it's sad sometimes when siblings, grow,
apart from each other.
Go different ways, and then they disconnect. And a lot of times I see it, with brothers, with the men for some reason, more than a lot of times sisters get, they're really close and stuff. So I love seeing their relationship and how they do depend on each other, and things that they have to work out and negotiate with laundry and with every, schedule, the computer. We have one computer in the house, and I love it because it fosters like negotiation. They'll okay, well, they'll switch their times because they have like a special thing coming on, and they have to work it out between them, and they can't come to us. That is something that they have to do, and I'll take the cord out if there's any problems with it. But
so you force them to figure it out amongst themselves, like critical thinking, and they have to like work together as a team.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if it was really because I'm trying to be a good parent, or more so that it was just there's so many of them that, it's 4, okay, but that it's 4 of them, so they have to work it out. They can't come to me and I have to work it out. So when it happened when they were younger, and I would do that, but now that they're older, they do need those skills, and they do work it out, and I hear them, negotiate with each other and stuff, because I think that that's important. I was an only child, so I didn't have any of that. So I think maybe that's also why I thought, that it is important. I guess I am doing it as part of my parenting style.
Take a little ownership of it.
Yeah, I think I am.
I think about, and this is a negative thing, but it's a good thing for me. I constantly think about a vision of me going to my kids' house when they're in their 30s, and they have their families, and I'm sitting there watching my son and his wife argue, or my grandson being neglected by my son because he's worried about bills, or I'm at my daughter's house and the kids are, kind of getting punished because my daughter has her own anger and her stuff that she's got on her plate. And I create this vision on purpose so that I can feel the pain of what it would feel like to be a grandfather and at the home as a third party watching that, and realizing that how did I play a part in that? What didn't I do, or who was I not being? And what parenting piece or component that I missed that I didn't teach my son how to be more patient? And what parenting component that I missed that I didn't teach my daughter how to love herself enough, or how to be giving enough and attentive enough to realize that, she's taking her anger out on her son. And I don't know if it's something I just developed, but I've always been like that. I've always looked ahead in the future and kind of foreseen some of the things that I think it would break my heart. And then now rewind the time back to this time and say, okay, if that were a possibility, who do you need to be right now to cause that shift, to hook their heart, to teach them those things, so that scenario doesn't play out like that.
Yeah.
Would it break your heart to be watching your sons struggling in their marriages and not giving your grandkids the affection that those little babies need? If you're sitting there and watching that.
Absolutely. And I think it goes back to just how we decided to take responsibility for our lives and our roles as parents. And so if we're taking responsibility and we see that as the product, then what did we do? And so I can see how it's kind of like begin with the end in mind. So if you're going to look at that as the end and then work your way backwards, then what do you need to do to do different?
Or who do you need to be?
Who do you need to be? But that is something, I wouldn't want to see that. And I would definitely question, what did I do? Goodness gracious.
Who wasn't I being that I couldn't cause that shift? Today we'll come back from the break. Listen to My Conscious Dad right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And welcome back to My Conscious Dad right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. If you missed any of this show, you can always go get the podcast at hometownstation.com. I want to thank you for being here. It's such a pleasure and honor. We haven't seen each other for a while. It's funny because I always say this, all my good friends, the people that I adore and people that have a special place in my heart, we could not see each other for 10 years. And then when we see each other, it's like little kids in a candy store. And we pick up right where we left off. And it's kind of like, okay, where's the shovel and where's the bucket? And we just start playing again. And it's so fun. I miss it. I miss hanging out with you. And we definitely got to get together and bring our families together and do something.
Yeah. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be more coming down the pipeline on the book. And, I'm really excited for the book because even your contribution, because, you giving yourself permission to share like that and contribute, gets to be your legacy, a part of your legacy. We all do little projects, and we hope that there's something that we do that's special that supersedes us. And my intention for the book is really to create some powerful content to really help acknowledge parents and have them realize how special they are and how magnificent they are and how magnificent they've always been. And that they have the tools within them. They just got to be willing to discover them. They have to be courageous enough to look and search and find some of the little hidden gems that we got inside of us, because we're mighty, we're powerful if we have the audacity to go and look for it.
Well, I've been waiting for this book for a long time, like I'm sure many other people. So you have a lot to share, and you're always a gift, and you know that I love you. And when you reached out to me, I was like so excited, and I'm like, of course, even though I'm thinking in my mind, I am not an author, I don't know but if you're gonna ask, I'm gonna say yes, because I believe in your
and
work.
The reason why is because there's only a handful of people that I've embarked on this journey of personal growth that really has something special, and I've always seen it in you. And whether you want to acknowledge it or not, I'm always going to see it because it's something that's evident, and I appreciate you. And I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Alex. I love you.
And I didn't bring no tissues, so
I know, don't make
start.
me cry.
You're listening to My Conscious Dad right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.